Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the channel. This is Son of Liberty. So as promised, we are going to be talking about the CZ P10 Compact and my review 2,500 rounds later. So first off, let me start out by saying that I had a lot of expectations for the CZ P10 Compact, and probably a lot of you guys did too as well if you're watching this video. If you're not a big fan of CZ, then you're probably just doing your due diligence by doing some research. And good for you. So if you guys are interested, I have an interview that I done with CZ a couple years ago at SHOT Show. I'm going to post a link down below to that, as well as my review of the first 500 rounds with this gun. So I had these expectations of what I wanted this gun to live up to. I wanted there to be a gun on the market that I love just as much as I love my Glocks, okay? And I wanted it to be this gun. I absolutely love this gun. However, it did not meet those expectations that I had for it, okay? So the first 500 rounds, flawless, no issues whatsoever. And as I continued to shoot the gun, there were some things that, again, did not meet my expectations, and I started to see some failures, okay? So anyway, we're going to talk about that now. So let's talk about the very first one that I had. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one first just because this is the most recent issue that I've had with it. But I want to make sure that I'm very clear. This is not the factory trigger that came with this gun. This is a HB Industries aftermarket trigger from them for this gun. And this gun had tons of review. They were all positive. I couldn't find anything negative that was said about this trigger. So I knew that I wanted a shorter reset than what came with the factory. And so to me, this was the answer to that solution. So they have a really detailed step-by-step instruction to break this gun down and change the trigger out. Even for somebody who's not mechanically inclined like myself, it was very easy to follow. Now, I'm actually a Glock armor, but even getting into this, it was a little different, I'll say that. So anyway, step by step, follow the instructions, and now what I have found, let me just go ahead and show you that we are dealing with a safe and clear weapon. Let me go ahead and try to duplicate this. There we go. One of the issues now, if you'll see that the rail has moved forward on the frame itself. So now what happens is when I go to pull the trigger, I get that. So it is now riding back and forth on the actual frame itself, on the rails, but nothing happens. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull the trigger back as far as I can. Nothing. Okay, it's completely disengaged. So that has been the most recent issue that I've had with the gun. Now, for those that are saying that it really doesn't count because it's not a CZ factory part, at least let me say this, that had there been possible issues like this with the HB Industries trigger, I think there would have been more information out there about it. I firmly believe that there is some other internal issue going on here that is causing this to happen. Now, if you've been following CZ's success and of course some of the issues that have came about in the industry, there has been some issues with this rear back plate dropping down and not allowing the gun to be able to function properly, okay? So that is something that I have heard with CZs, but it's not something I have experienced myself, okay? Now, this can be corrected if I just simply grab the slide and rack back on it again, and now I have full function of the trigger, okay? Reset, pull, reset, and now it goes through and it does it again, okay? So that is an issue, and obviously this gun is not functioning properly, definitely not enough for me to carry this gun, okay? So that was issue number one. Issue number two is probably something that you're more familiar with. Now, in my review when I first got the gun, the magazine release was so tight that I could barely depress it at all to get a magazine out. So for demonstration purposes and weight reasons, I've got a fully loaded magazine here, okay? I'm going to depress the magazine, and as you can see, the magazine drops out fine, no issues, right? Even if I just simply press the magazine release and hold it in, the magazine still drops free. Okay, now even if I press it with authority really hard, magazine comes out, no issues. So now what happens when I move to an additional magazine, it's completely unloaded, I get that issue. So if I depress the magazine, sometimes it'll come out, sometimes it won't. This is a more familiar issue with the CZ and the magazines. So obviously I could do my own work on this and kind of polish that where that meets the magazine lip and probably fix that issue. I have read a lot of people doing that. However, with that issue as well as my other issue, I want to make sure that CZ goes through this thing with a magnifying glass, if you will. Okay, so that was issue number 2. All right, and finally the last issue is when it comes to breaking this gun down. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull the magazine out and demonstrate this for you. You may have a difficult time seeing this. I will try to make sure that even if I have to use a flashlight to get in there to show you guys, I will, so that you guys can see exactly what I'm referring to. So just like a Glock, we want to depress this lever right here. We're going to pull the trigger, obviously pointing it at a safe direction, making sure that it is completely unloaded. So now I should be able to just pull this slide directly off the gun. But what happens is when I go to break down the gun, it gets there and then it stops. Okay, this has been a very known issue with other CZs. So what is happening is that there is, let me go ahead and show you, at least to try to show you guys where this pin is at. I'm going to get my flashlight out just in case I need it. All right. Let's see if I can demonstrate this for you guys so you guys can see the actual pin itself. Alright, you see this pin right here. I'm going to circle it on the screen. So what is happening is there is a piece that spring fits perfectly inside of. Okay, so what is happening is as the gun is being fired and as it flexes from recoil, that space in between the frame and the actual part that sits behind the frame where that pin goes into, or that spring, that is because of the flexing. There's too much space there. It flexes and that pin pops out, and when it does that, it does not allow the gun to be broken down for maintenance, okay, or for cleaning, troubleshooting, and whatnot. So what you have to do is you have to pull the slide back, get something small enough in there to depress that spring, okay, and hold it down so that you can separate the slide from the frame. Mine is actually worn all the way down to where it's almost smooth, and so I was astonished that I hadn't had any other issues than I was because of that. So I'm going to roll in some footage here real quickly just to show you. Now this is with the known issue with the magazine, okay, as well as the this slide issue here. Okay, this is before I installed the trigger, the HB Industries trigger. Okay, now back in business, at least for the time being. I'm going to roll in some footage here so you guys can actually see how well this gun actually ran. So after looking at that footage, it's really hard to deny that this gun is an absolute sewing machine. It runs blazingly fast. And it's really frustrating to know that your gun is capable of doing that, yet there are some underlying issues that are preventing you from carrying it for self-defense. So as I stated before, guys, I'm going to be sending this gun back off to CZ for a complete inspection. If you guys aren't following me here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit the like button and help this video get seen by more people. And if you know someone who has one of these guns, send them a link to this video, just so they're at least aware of some of the issues that they need to be on the lookout for. Okay. And when this gun comes back, I'll make sure to update everybody on my Instagram account. If you're not following me there, there's going to be a link down below, so that way you guys can stay in touch with me in between videos and know what is up and coming here on the channel. So guys, as always, thank you so much for your continued support. It means the world to me. And as always, guys, till the next video, take care, be safe.